In this session, we would focus on how to fit marginal models using the GEE and the GEE-PAC library in R. We would be using two data sets. One is the CSR data set, which has the responses to be binary in nature, and then we would be using another data set called the crossover data set, which comes from a 3-period crossover trial of an analgesic drug on 86 women. Here the responses are binary in nature. So, we would be using these two data sets and illustrate how to fit a GEE using R. So, we would start with the CSR data. Just for a recap, the CSR counts for 59 epileptic patients were recorded. The patients were randomized to be treated with anti-epileptic drug Prograbide or placebo. That means we have two groups of patient and the composition is randomized, and one group gets Prograbide and one group gets placebo. Now, number of seizures is observed in 4 consecutive 2 weeks interval. So, the number of seizures in 4 2-week intervals is noted for both the Prograbide group and the placebo group. Also, the number of seizures prior to giving the Prograbide or placebo is also noted in the data. So, unlike the other two examples of that we did last time, here we have a count data, because here we are counting the number of seizures. This data is stored in the R package MAS as a APIL data frame. So, if we call APIL from the R package MAS, we would get this data, and the question of importance is, does Prograbide reduce the number of seizures? So, all through we shall be assuming a exchangeable working correlation structure. Now, to load in the data, let us call the library MAS. So, we can do that by specifying library MAS here, and once we call the library MAS, the MAS library is loaded and attached. So, now we have the data APIL in it, but we won't be working with all the variables of the data. So, we would be selecting the variables that we need for the analysis and store it in a new data frame called APIL1. So, we have APIL1 is APIL, and within square brackets the column numbers with a comma in front, meaning that we are selecting all rows of with the following column numbers. So, just to see what the data contains, we have Y, which is the response, we have the treatment. So, treatment are either placebo or Prograbide, then base. Now, here base means the number of seizures that had happened prior to administering the placebo or the Prograbide drug, and this is in a 8-week period. Then the age of the subject, and then a identifier subject. So, here 1 1 1 1 means the first subject, 2 2 2 2 means the second subject, and if we see 1 and base 11 means prior to the start of the experiment, in 8 weeks the subject 1 had 11 seizures. Now, we need to do a little bit of data modification so that the data becomes amenable to our analysis format. Now, what do? We need to include the pre-post idea in the data, the pre-post variable in the data. So, what we do is we first split the entire data based on the subject. Now, what this creates is this creates a list with each element of the list itself being a data frame. For example, the first element of the list would be the first 5 entries of the data, or the first 4 entries of the data. The second element of the list would be the 5th to 8th element of the data, meaning that each element of the list is nothing but a data frame for the specified subject. So, the ith element would be the data frame for the subject I, and because we have 59 subjects, so we would run a loop from 1 to 59 and we would modify each element of apil.sub list and store it in a new list, and then we would bind them. So, what we are doing here is apil.mod is apil.sub I. So, that means we are taking the ith element of apil.sub and storing it in apil.mod. Then we are specifying what's the number of seizures, and we are specifying a variable called week is 0 to 4. Now, this week does not mean a conventional week. So, we have 5 variables 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 stands for the period where the number of 0 stands for the period before administering the experiment, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are the 2 weeks period for after the experiment has been administered. Then we have ID, we have treatment either Progabide or placebo, we have the age, we have time. So, time is basically the length of the period. We have a pre-post indicating whether the number of seizures counted was from pre or post experiment, and a new list. So, we store entire created objects in new list, which is a blank data frame. So, now the ith element of new list would be the new data frame from the old data frame for each subject, and then we bind it and get the data called sees.full. Just to have an idea about sees.full, we can use head sees.full comma 10, and now it gives me. So, let us see what it is giving me. So, it gives me the ID first. So, I have 5 ID. So, I have 5 measurements for ID 1, I have 5 measurements for ID 2. Now, the 5 measurements is 4 for the placebo or Progabide, or 4 for the experiment, and 1 prior to the experiment, and we have seizure, which is nothing but the number of seizures. So, 11 is the number of seizures here. So, prior to the experiment, as we all know now that the ID 1 had 11 seizures in the 8-week period, and then 5 seizures, 3 seizures, 3 seizures, 3 seizures in the following 2-week periods. And here week, again week does not mean week in the conventional sense, but the time period. So, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, the treatment is placebo, age, and then here comes the time variable 8. So, note that here 8 means it is an 8-week period. So, 11 seizures were seen in 8 period and post is 0. So, this is pre-experiment. Here it's then again the period comes 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and the post values are 1, meaning that all the observations are post start of the experiment. Once we have this sees.full data, we are now in a position to run the generalized estimating equations. So, here I would use GEE1. So, that is the object in which I would keep my estimates or keep my output of the GEE, and then I am using the function called GEE, which is in library GEE. So, here I have called library GEE previously, and GEE seizure explained by post plus treatment plus post interaction treatment, and I have used offset log time. Now, I would come to why I have used offset log time, but let us see what is the output here. So, for one can use summary.ge1 to get the idea, but I am here using components of the summary GE1, because summary GE1 would give you us so much of information that it's unable it doesn't fit in one slide. So, just to see the coefficients, round summary GE1 $coefficients comma 2. So, that means we are rounding off the coefficients to 2 decimal places, and we get the estimates 1.35 0.11, 0.03 and minus 0.1. So, note that post interaction Prograbide, what this is doing is this has a negative estimate, meaning that Prograbide is reducing the number of seizures. It also gives the naive standard error, the naive Z, the robust standard error and hence the robust Z. So, about the working correlation, we had assumed the working correlation to be exchangeable. So, here we use summary GE1 working correlation and then it is rounded to 2 decimal places, and this is what we get. The diagonal elements are 1 and the off diagonal elements are 0.77. And to see what is the scale parameter, we can use summary GE1 scale and it gives me the value, while summary GEE1 gives the scale as well as the standard error of the scale. Now, why did we use offset? You see that here the time periods are different. One is 8 weeks and the remaining 4 are 2 weeks. So, we are modeling log mu I, which can be thought of as log Ti lambda I, where mu I is the mean number of seizures. So, the mean number of seizures can be written as Ti lambda I, which is log Ti plus log lambda I. So, where Ti is the time in which the number of seizures are measured or the weeks in which the number of seizures are measured, and lambda I is a rate of seizure per week. So, this can be further reduced in like log Ti plus log lambda I, which is like log Ti plus xi beta. So, to incorporate this log Ti, we are using the offset term. So, a offset is a term with constant coefficients and we have included it using the offset command. Also, the dispersion parameter might be different between Prograbide and placebo group. So, let us see if this is really different or not. Now, to do that, we are using the library GEEPAC, because GEE does not support different dispersion parameters among the groups. So, here GEE, but in GEE the GEEPAC, the function is GEE-SE, which fits the estimating equations, and we are storing it in an object called GEE2, then the model offset, and we have used a new thing called S formula. So, S formula is scale formula, and we are telling that the scale formula is being explained by treatment. That means, for each treatment group we have different scale formula. Family is Poisson because we have count data, and correlation structure is exchangeable. We can use any other correlation structures, but here because GE produces consistent estimates, we are working with exchangeable correlation structure. And then here if we say summary GE2, again it would produce a lot of output. So, just to keep them short, we are using summary GE2 mean, and we get the estimates, we get the standard errors, we get the Wald's statistic, and we get the p value here. But note that what happens for the scale. Now, we have a scale for intercept which is by default treatment placebo, and we have a scale for treatment Prograbide, and they are different. Also, the estimate has reduced. So, the correlation parameter, previously it was 0.77, now this has reduced to 0.74, but it is significantly greater than 0. Next comes another data from a 3-period crossover trial data. Now, what is a crossover trial? So, crossover trial assume that a treatment has 2 or 3 levels. So, say 2 levels or 3 levels, say A, B and C. So, each individual would be getting all the 3 levels of the treatment in different sequences, like some of the individuals might be getting ABC, some of them might be getting BAC, some of them might be getting CAB. So, in general, if there are 3 treatments, there would be in possible 6 choices. For example, ABC, ACB, BAC, BCB, CAB and CBA. So, these are the 6 possible choices, and all of the patients would be allocated to any one of the choices. So, here the data comes from the of studying the efficacy of an analgesic drug from relieving pain from primary dysmenorrhea. So, 3 levels of analgesic are used. One is placebo, one is low, and one is high levels of analgesic. So, in placebo nothing is given, then a low level of analgesic is given and a high level of analgesic. The total number of subjects were 86, and the women were randomized to one of the 6 possible orders for administering the treatment. The assessment of the carryover effect and the efficacy of the treatment was the motive or the purpose of the study. So, now what we can see here, what is a carryover effect? A carryover effect is the effect of prior treatment on current response. Now, this data can be downloaded from the book by Diggle, Leung, Ziegler and Hegarty, and this data can be downloaded from the website given here. That is the analysis of longitudinal data website, website for the book analysis of longitudinal data. So, this data can be downloaded as a data file and can be stored. So, here we first read the data, read dot table, and the data is x over. So, the x over is a x over 3. So, this is a 3 period crossover. So, we would be telling this to be the Zover data, but it is basically crossover 3 dot data. Now, note that this data file do not have the column names, but there is another file which explains what are the column names. So, the column names have been taken from them. So, we have ID and we have class and whether there was relief, and then this TX2 stands for treatment level 2, TX3 treatment level 3, then period 2, period 3, and then this is the carryover effect. So, PTX1 and PTX2 and PTX3. So, this is the data. So, if we use head x over 3, this is what we get. We would be creating 2 variables. One is called the period variable and the other is the treatment variable. So, we use the if else command to create the period variable and the TRT command to create the treatment variable, and then use head x over 3. So, this is now 2 variables added. At the last one is the PD variable which stands for the period, and other is the TRT variable which stands for the treatment. So, the basic exploration that we can do is we can have a table of the period, relief and treatment, and what do we see here? So, this is the period 1, period 2, period 3, and the relief 0 means no relief, relief 1 means there has been relief, and we see that the treatment 2 and 3, that is the analgesic. Treatment 2 is analgesic with low dose and treatment 3 is analgesic with high dose, and they are doing their job perfectly well. So, here there has been definite reduction. So, the analgesic is doing better than the placebo. Note that here relief is a 0-1 variable, that is a binomial variable. So, what we are doing is we are again using the GE function with the model, and then we are having a fixed scale. So, the phi parameter is not here, and we have used the correlation structure to be unstructured. So, here it is not exchangeable, but unstructured. We can very well use the correlation structure to be exchangeable also. The coefficient comes out to be like this is the estimate minus 1.101 for the intercept, for that is for the placebo, for analgesic with so that is for placebo and period combined. For period 2 this is 0.379, and now note these 2 coefficients which is TX2 and TX3. Now, TX2 and TX3 are analgesics at low level and analgesics at high level, and both the coefficients are very similar. Note that this is a logistic model that we have fitted. So, the exponentiating this provides us the odds, And so the odds here comes out to be 8.17 and 8.4. So there is not much of a difference between the odds of treatment 2 and treatment 3, that's analgesic with low level and analgesic at high level, and hence we conclude that those treatments are effective. So the analgesic is definitely effective because it produces a much higher odds. So in this session we have learned how to use the GEE function in the library GEE to fit different marginal models. We have used various correlation structures and have learned what are the internal components that the GEE output gives.